Hey, in this episode of Ask Aaron, I'm going to share with you one big conversion tracking mistake that I keep seeing brands make, and yet it's so easy to avoid. Let's get into it. So look, if you're an e-commerce brand and you are running Google ads or Bing ads, I'm going to assume that some of your campaigns are using conversion-based goal strategies and bidding optimization. If that is the case, then I implore you to stop what you're doing, watch this quick video, and then go and check that you're not making this common mistake, which is leaving your conversions on as the account-based default. What do I mean by this? Because I always try and make my videos non-technical. So what do I actually mean? Well, look, when you choose conversion as your bid strategy, which for the most part makes a lot of sense, because you're saying to Google, look, go find me, I want you to optimize my campaign, whether that's a search campaign or a shopping campaign or whatever. But whether you choose max conversions or a target ROAS or whatever, whenever it's a value-based strategy that you choose based on your campaign type that you're bidding on, within that, it will by default choose the account default conversions. But more often than not, that can be a mistake, because there are lots of conversions that can have a value attributed to them. In the top bar of your Google Ads, if you go and click onto conversions, you will then be presented with your conversion page. Now, within there, you will have them essentially grouped together by the type of conversion. So you will have at the very top, for most e-commerce brands, depending on your account, but for most, will have purchases. Great. Within that, and you'll have purchases, you'll then have maybe add to cart, you might have begin checkout, there might be things like store visits, there might be any kind of lead forms or phone call ones, there might even be some like get directions and engagement and other, even page view can be in there as a conversion goal. Now, one would hope that your account, on the right hand side, you'll see edit goal, and you can choose, when you click that on the right hand side, you can choose that and you can say, have this as a primary goal for my account or a secondary goal. You want to make sure that anything that isn't a true conversion for your brand, you have as secondary. Secondary just means you are going to continue to track it. Google will still keep an eye on it, or still monitor it, track it, but it won't optimize for that goal. So what the first step you want to do is you want to go through all of the groups, and you'll know them because they're little sort of rectangle boxes, is look at all the different ones that will be different in your account. Which one of those has a commercial value that I deem that I want to tell the system that is a conversion? I want more of those, please. If you want them, then leave it as primary. If you don't, then mark it as secondary. That's the first thing you can do. On top of that, let's go back up to the top and look at purchase. Let's say purchase, yes. Purchase has a commercial value. Great, we want that. How many specific conversion goals are within your purchase group? Because if you've got more than one, what you need to understand is, are each goal primary or secondary? By clicking into it, you can see, okay, it's set up as primary or it's set up as secondary. You can also see, is it or has it got a value assigned to it, a default value, or how is it set up? Now, again, there's a bit more to it than I'm trying to just give you the sort of the top line on it. But essentially, what you need to do is you need to make sure that within all of those possible conversions, and I've seen accounts that have got 20, 30, 40, 50 conversion goals. It gets very complicated very quickly. Within all of those conversions, which ones are actually have a value that you want to be feeding the system? Because you'll notice if you go down the list, you'll start to get to some where they're Google hosted conversions. Well, that's Google essentially marking its own homework. It's saying, well, it sets up lots of default goals that if you don't turn them off, it will be using that to optimize your account and to go and get you more of those people. And if you're an e-commerce based brand and you want purchases, you want people to buy your product, and yet and you've optimized for a conversion based campaign, you could be thinking, well, this is great. I've optimized for conversions. I've got my conversion tracking set up place. Jobs are good. But actually, if you haven't disabled all of these other ones, then you're telling Google, yes, find me more of those. But I also value, as much as a purchase, I also value a page view or a phone call or a begin checkout or an add to cart or a submit lead form, whatever it might be. And that might not be the case. I see this all too often, even with brands that are working with agencies. They haven't gone and properly analysed this and worked out, just thought very commercially, logically, do we want that to be set up? And also, within each of these things, we see it all too often where a conversion that has a benefit to the business, i.e. an add to cart or a begin checkout. That's great. We want that. We want to track that. But based on the number of purchases we're actually getting, do we want to optimize for that fully? Sometimes yes, sometimes no, depending on the volume you get into your account. But what you maybe don't want to be doing is assigning a value to that, because we've seen it more often than we would like, is where there's a value being assigned to the add to cart step or to the begin checkout stage. And that just tells Google completely the wrong messaging, because then Google says, okay, well, there's a £10, £20, £30, £50 value to that add to the cart. And it's 10 times easier, literally, to go and get the people to add to cart. Well, I'll optimize the algorithm optimizes for that, not the purchase. And you see why that's a problem. And equally, we've had others where page views or get directions or even engagement is set up as a conversion, and because it's not excluded, what's happened is Google's going, well, it's much easier to get those type of conversion goals than it is a purchase, and the machine optimizes for those. So it's a big topic, as is often so much the case with all this digital marketing stuff. But I implore you to just, having watched this video, go and check your account, or if you don't do it, ask whoever does, or ask the agency that's saying, say, right, when it comes to conversion tracking, because don't just be told, oh, we're optimizing for conversions. Fine. How many conversions are set up in our account? Go and check yourself. Click your conversions. How many are set up? How many are set up as primary? And are they the right ones? Because if they're not, you very possibly could be sending the algorithm completely the wrong signals. And if you do that, it's a great way of wasting money. And it's also a great way of easily being able to improve your performance, is just by saying only having the right value assigned to the relevant goals and only having primary as the actual goals that you want to measure and track, and have everything else as secondary. So if that's all you take away from this, is go and ask the question, what have we got set up as primary? What have we got set up as secondary? I would imagine most brands watching this won't have that set up as correctly as they should, or a good number anyway won't, based on the amount of accounts that we look at, and they're just not right. So I hope you have got it right, but it's a 5-minute check that you can go and do, and you can often get some really quick wins off the back of doing it. So go and check it out. If you do manage to fix it, I'd love it if you could just send me a message or even comment below on this video and just kind of go, you don't have to say what or how, but just, yep, we fixed it, or yes, that was true for us, or whatever. I'd love to know that. That'd be really useful, because I do think this is a very common mistake that a lot of brands are just unaware of when it comes to this primary, secondary, when it comes to Google hosted versus your own hosted. The other thing, just to say as a little extra onto this as well, is make sure that your conversion tracking is set up natively within Google Ads or within Bing Ads. Don't be pulling on conversions in from Google Analytics, which is all too often what a lot of brands are doing. The reason for that is because the attribution won't be right. So make sure that if you're running Google Ads, make sure you are using the Google Ads tags, the Google tag, to set up and measure and track your conversions. 1, because it'll be that much more accurate. 2, because you don't want to be relying on a third-party tool to feed in your most valuable metric. Hope it's useful. Any questions, let me know. Otherwise, we'll keep these coming. Got lots more, and I just wanted to share this one because it is a big mistake that we see a lot of brands making and just not aware of. And it's so easy to fix. So if you haven't already, go and check it out, and I hope it helps you on your way in improving your all-important ROAS when it comes to your PPC. Thanks so much. We'll see you on the next one. Take care.